Tarvo Vinedustam Sarvabhutam Nadamunimantasmi Ramasishtam Manumapi Sachiputram Atrasarupam Rupamatasya Rajorupurim Maturim Goshtavati Radha Kundamagirivaramaho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Patitaya Shri Gurum Tam Natasmi Vigyantimirandasya Gyananjanasharakya Chakshuram Vitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishnavakaya Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Vandeyam Shri Guru Varam Shri Rupanu Prabhuram Rajarasrasimam Charanayam Dandanam Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Pristaya Bhutale Rupanu Dilam Chakapamurti Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaur Bhaktivedanta Jai Rup Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattavasaranat Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my Shastanga Dharma pronouns at the lotus feet of our spiritual masters. Tava Vishnu Vishnupada Stotra Sada Srimad Bhaktivedanta Shri Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev. Tava Vishnu Vishnupada Stotra Sada Srimad Bhaktivedanta Shri Vam Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev. The entire Rupana Gauri Guru Varga, all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, the Sannyas come and to our Guru. So it is a very auspicious tithi. It is the Disciplin's Day of three of our Acharyas, Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Sri Rasikananda Prabhu, and Tlavishta Sri Bhakti Dait Madhu Goswami Maharaj. So we'll just do like a brief description of each of these Acharyas. Rasikananda Prabhu is a very beloved disciple of Sri Shyamananda Prabhu. It is said that when Rasikananda Prabhu was born to his father, Achyut Dev, and his mother Bhavani. So this history that I am speaking is from Krishna Kathamrit Bindu. And your godbrother combined. Madhavananda Prabhu. Nice compilation. So therein Rasikananda Prabhu, as soon as he was born, 6 months after he was born, they offered this plate. Because when a baby is born, to say the Ruchi, called Ruchi Pariksha, to test the examination, to test where the inclination of the child lies, they offered like one Bhagavatam, one pen, and one leaf, like a tal leaf, to see where his inclination lies. So then he was barely 1 year old. So then as soon as he saw the Bhagavatam, he reached out, grabbed it and held it to his chest, and he started weeping. He was just a small baby. He was like trying to reach out, but somehow his father held it to his chest and he was weeping so much. That was his love for the Bhagavatam, barely 1 year old. So then gradually, as he was growing up, he was always listening to Kirtan, listening to Harikatha, associating with the devotees, associating with the Vaishnavas. So then one day, he got into this habit of playing with all the other boys. And he would play so much that he would not return home to take prasad. So then his father, he kept looking for his son, but he wouldn't return home because he was so absorbed in playing. So then one day his father told him, "Why are you playing so much?" He said, "Because you don't let me listen to the Bhagavatam. That's why I'm only using that as an excuse. So if you arrange for someone to speak the Bhagavatam for me, then I promise I'll never go play with any other child." And his father said, "All right." So then he called a Pandit, one scholar, and he told the scholar, "Always read the Bhagavatam in front of this boy." And the scholar, he would read all the different leelas of Krishna from the Bhagavatam. Like how Krishna was born, how he killed all the different demons, Rakshasas, Rakshasis. And how when Krishna left to Mathura and Dwarika, how the gopis were weeping so much. When Rasikananda Prabhu heard this story, then he also started weeping so much, being absorbed in the mood of the gopis. He also started rolling on the ground. This is called Tanmayata. This is called absorption while listening to Harikatha. If there is no absorption, then where is the mood? There are 5 kinds of anarthas called Loy, Vikshe, Apratipati, Asaswad, and Kashai. So loy means when Harikatha is going on or when Kirtan is going on, one falls asleep. This is called loy. What is vikshep? Vikshep means one gets very distracted while listening to Harikatha or while Kirtan. What does he do? He takes his phone out. Let's Google something. Let's go to YouTube. Let's check it out. Let's go on WhatsApp. This is called vikshep. And then there's apratipati. Apratipati means, in spite of the absence of loy and vikshep, still he cannot focus his mind on listening to Harikatha. And then there is kashai. Kashai means some latent impurities within one's heart. Even when listening to Kirtan, sometimes he thinks, oh, if I could be eating this kind of food, when will class finish? Let me go drink some thumbs up Coca-Cola. This is called rasaswa, kashai. The desire for sense gratification. Harikatha is going on, oh, let's see, let's look at the other side, where all the Matajis are sitting. Let's look at their faces. Let's enjoy their beauty as well. This is called rasaswa. So therefore, if one is not careful, then even when listening to Harikatha, doing Kirtan, then his mind is only going here and there. Then where is the absorption? Where is the tanmayata? But Rasikananda Prabhu, he was fully absorbed in listening to this Harikatha. So much so that he would witness all the leelas of Radha and Krishna in front of his eyes. As the Bhagavatam would be spoken, as and when the leela of Krishna would be spoken, he would be directly seeing that leela in front of his own eyes. Like once in South India, there is one king called Kulashekar Alwar, one very famous Acharya in the line of Sri Ramanujacharya. So he was a great devotee of Ram. And every day in his assembly, Ramayana would be read to Kulashekar Alwar. But then, the devotees there, they saw that he was so absorbed in listening to the Ramayana that if we ever speak this part of the Ramayana where Sita was kidnapped by Ravan, then he might even give up his life in separation. So they would always skip this part of Sita being taken away by Ravan. But one day, the person who was going to recite the Ramayana, he fell sick. So then he sent his son, saying, you go and speak the Ramayana on my behalf to the king. So this boy, he was new, he didn't know anything. So what did he do? He recited the entire chapter which speaks of Ravan taking Sita away. So as soon as Kulashekar Alwar heard this, that Sita has been taken away by Ravan, this demon, then immediately he went mad, started tearing his clothes open. He said, he called out to all his generals, bring the army quickly. Let's go and punish this Rakshas, Ravan. Let's go chastise him, teach him a good lesson. He went mad. Then it took them 2 days to pacify him, saying, this is a part of the Ramayana. But this is absorption. If there is no such absorption, then it is only going from one ear and going out of the other ear. So Rasikananda Prabhu was so absorbed. And there is one very nice book written by one follower of Rasikananda called Gopijana Vallabh. So he wrote one book called Rasik Mangal. So this book is like the biography of Rasikananda Prabhu. This is Rasik Mangal. So therein he has described that two personalities called Jagannath Mishra and Hari Dubey, they had like a huge influence on his life. Because Jagannath Mishra, he was a devotee. He was not like any other scholar. Because scholars, when they read the Bhagavatam, they cannot understand the underlying moods of these verses of the Bhagavatam. That only a devotee can understand. Who has taken shelter, who is Sharanagat. So Jagannath Mishra, he was such a devotee. So when he would speak on the Bhagavatam, at that time Rasikananda Prabhu also, he would pass certain comments, saying, oh, this is like this is like that. So when he heard this young boy, like giving his own commentary on the Bhagavatam, then he said, when you speak on the Bhagavatam, it seems Vyas and Sukadeva Goswami themselves have manifested in you. He said, such a great compliment. If someone is saying that you're like the non-different manifestation of Vyas and Sukadeva Goswami, could there be a better compliment than that? And then there was another Pandit that he was associating with, called Hari Dubey. So Hari Dubey also was of that same caliber. And he would speak from the perspective of a devotee. Not from the perspective of a grammarian. What does one who knows grammar, what does he do? he only speaks about the verbal roots, dhatus. He speaks about the nouns, he speaks about the adjectives, but he doesn't go deep inside. But these scholars were not like that. So when Rasikananda Prabhu heard them, then he realized that now I should dedicate my entire life to just serving Radha and Krishna. And then when he was just a small boy, he would take some clay, he would take some soil, and he would make some deities of Radha and Krishna. Just a small boy, he would take some dirt, we can't say dirt, he would just take some mud, and he would make some deities out of that mud. And he would offer bhoga, he would do parikrama, he would do archan. And then this way, once he was traveling in Orissa, in one place near the Vaitarani river. So the Vaitarani Nadi is very famous in Orissa. So when he was traveling, he had the Bhagavatam with him. The Bhagavatam was always with him at all times. So when he was traveling in that river, there was a huge storm. And the entire boat capsized. Means it went upside down. So then all the people on the other side of the river who hadn't sat in the boat yet, they started crying out, saying, oh, these people are going to drown. Because the Vaitarani Nadi is like bottomless. No one has even judged where the bottom of the river lies. So when the boat capsized, then to everyone's surprise, amazement, the water was knee deep. Water was knee deep, means only until here. None of them died, none of them drowned. But then Rasikananda Prabhu was still weeping. He was still crying. So then his disciples, his followers asked, what is the problem? He said, where is my Bhagavatam? I can't find it. Then they dove inside the water, then somehow they looked everywhere, but they still couldn't find it. Then he himself said, I will never leave this place until I get my Bhagavatam. Then finally they found the Bhagavatam. He was carrying like one iron chest, which is really heavy. So the Bhagavatam was inside that chest. All the other books they retrieved, but they could not lift the Bhagavatam. It was so heavy. It was more than 100 kilos. But then as soon as Rasikananda reached out to that chest and he held it, it was like a flower, lighter than a flower, and he retrieved the Bhagavatam. So all these histories have been given in Rasik Mangal. It is said that even elephants, mad elephants, who could not be controlled by anyone, were also initiated by him. Like there was one mad elephant which was wreaking havoc everywhere. What did Rasikananda Prabhu do? He took some water, sprinkled on that elephant, and he said, chant Krishna. And he also gave a name to that elephant called Gopal Das. He named that elephant Gopal Das. And that elephant made all the other animals devotees as well. These are very beautiful instances in his life. So he was the disciple of Shyamananda Prabhu. So as we know, the Radha Shamsundar temple was established by him. And Rasikananda Prabhu's disciple was Nayanananda Prabhu. And Nayanananda Prabhu's disciple was Radha Damodar Chakravarti. And Radha Damodar Chakravarti was the guru of Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu. So that parampara is continuing that way. And the speciality of Rasikananda Prabhu's line is that he openly gave initiation to people who were not even born in Brahmin families. This was completely unheard of at that time in Odisha. Because there is always the aspect of orthodoxy. What is the meaning of being an orthodox Brahmin? Means one will only give initiation to one who is a born Brahmin. So Prabhupada, he faced so much opposition from his contemporaries for giving initiation to those who are not born in Brahmin families. But Rasikananda Prabhu, he gave to everyone, regardless. Whoever had the necessary qualification, whoever showed any ruchi to practice Krishna Bhakti, he gave the initiation. So Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu, when he was going to Jagannath Puri, there he met Radha Damodar Chakravarti. And there actually it is said that he wanted to debate with him. Because he was a scholar, Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu. He spent many years of his life in Udupi, in other places, debating with the other scholars. So when he went to meet Radha Damodar Chakravarti, at that time, when he started asking him questions, Radha Damodar Chakravarti first said, I have no time to answer your questions. No, I'm very busy in my Shravan Kirtan. But he said, no, you'll have to answer these questions. So then gradually, a debate ensued. And then what happened? He cut all the arguments of Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu. So who is Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu? The greatest scholar of his time. second only to Jiva Goswami. Such was his profound scholarship. But still he was humbled by Radha Damodar Chakravarti, the grand disciple of Rasikananda Prabhu. And he took initiation from him. So Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu, his disciple was Uddhav Das Babaji. And Uddhav Das Babaji's disciple was Jagannath Das Babaji, Madhusudan Das Babaji. And Madhusudan Das Babaji Maharaj's disciple was Jagannath Das Babaji. So if you look at this Pancharatriki line, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu are in the same line, in the Pancharatriki Parampara. We believe in the Bhagavad Parampara. We don't believe in the Pancharatriki. But still, it is very important to note that Pancharatriki Parampara is a part of Bhagavad Parampara. We must not minimize Pancharatriki Parampara, saying it is useless. No. It is a part of this Bhagavad Parampara. Now, like 10 rupees is a part of 100 rupees. You cannot exclude that 10 rupees from 100 rupees. So here, Madhusudan Das Babaji was a great devotee, and when he was very young, he was initiated by Uddhav Das Babaji. But he didn't know the name of his Guru. So he was very sad in his heart. He was thinking, what kind of a disciple am I that I don't know the name of my own Guru Maharaj? So then he wanted to give up his life. There's no meaning to my life. No. A disciple's standing in the spiritual world is based on what? Is based on his loyalty to Sri Guru. Is based on his allegiance to Sri Guru. If he has no loyalty to Sri Guru, if he has no Guru Bhakti, then what is the use of such a kind of disciple? He's useless. So he was thinking like that there is no meaning to my life and I don't even know the name of my Guru Maharaj. Why did I even live in this world? I'd rather give up my life. So then as he wanted to jump inside Radha Kund and give up his life, so that time Radha Rani herself appeared to him and told him, saying there's no need for you to give up your life. The name of your Guru is Uddhav Das Babaji. He's a disciple of Baladev Vidyabhushan. And then his life was spared. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his biography, he has written that I have met certain sadhus who are very old, in their 90s. And the Guru Maharaj of these sadhus have seen Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu. He has mentioned that as a note in his biography. Because Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu, he appeared like maybe 150 years before Bhaktivinoda Thakur. No, not many years before. So they say Madhusudan Das Babaji, whenever he would do bhajan there, he would be so absorbed in all these leelas that certain symptoms of those leelas would appear on his divine form. Like when Radha and Krishna would be playing Holi, and they'd be throwing colors at each other, and he'd be witnessing all these leelas. And sometimes Krishna would take some color and throw it on him as well. And he'd be sitting there in his sadhak form. And as he would be sitting, witnessing all these leelas of Radha and Krishna in his sadhak form, those same colors that Krishna threw on him in his leela would also appear on his body. They would also appear on his body, and his body would become so fragrant that all the Brajavasis sitting there, they would think he's a Siddha Baba. Means he's a perfect Baba. Look at him, that smell, that fragrance, those colors, they're not from this world, directly they're from the spiritual world. And then one day Radharani appeared in a dream to Madhusudan Das Babaji and told him that there is one Giriraj Shila inside Surya Kund, because he was doing his bhajan there, in Madan Ran Vatika in Surya Kund. So there Radharani told him there is one Giriraj Shila there which has the imprint of my crown called Mukut Shila. Means there is a Shila which has the impression of Radharani's crown, her Mukut. Why does she wear this Mukut? Who put this Mukut on her? Krishna himself put this crown on her. Why? Because he said, you are Vrindavaneshwari, you are Raseshwari. No one addresses Krishna as Vrindavaneshwar. No one calls him Raseshwar. Only Radharani is Raseshwari. She is Vrindavaneshwari. So she told him, go inside the pond, inside Surya Kund, and bring this Giriraj Shila. And then he was thinking, how can I bring it out? It weighs so much, 100 kilos. But she said, don't worry, just try. And as soon as he held it, again, became very soft. Like when Rasikananda held the Bhagavatam, became so soft. Similarly, the same thing here. It became lighter than a flower, and he brought it out. And he established it there, and he did his bhajan. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, he was very inspired by this personality. Who wouldn't be? No. Normally we say that Bhajananandis, they don't travel much, they don't preach much. Only the Ghostanandis do. But Bhajananandis also, by their own character, by their own purity, what do? They attract everyone. They attract all the living entities of this world by their own purity, just by sitting in one place. Because every atom of their body is emitting this potency, this Krishna Bhakti. This is called Mahat Sangha. Normally in the presence of a pure devotee, even if he doesn't say anything to you, even if he is not addressing you, if you just sit in his presence, then those rays of prem emanating from his form will enter your heart and create impressions there. Bhajanandis have such power, have such potency. Like we heard this, once someone asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj, what was the contribution of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj in this world? What was his contribution? And he said his contribution was that he gave us Srila Prabhupada. What was the contribution of Srila Lokanath Das Goswami? He gave us Srila Narottam Thakur. So behind every Ghostanandi, there is also Bhajananandi. His power, his influence, his potency, everything is reflected in the heart of his disciple, who is a Ghostanandi. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, being very much attracted by him, started staying with him there in Suryakund. And he started doing his bhajan there, under his guidance. So then gradually, when Madhusudan Das Babaji Maharaj left his body, then this place was left to him, saying, you can do your bhajan here. So then Babaji Maharaj, he would do his bhajan there. But then gradually this desire arose in his heart that I wish to go to Navadvip Dham. Why? Because in Kali Yuga, which Dham gives us the best shelter? Because all the living entities of Kali Yuga are so much miserable. And in Braj especially, if you are not careful, if you do something which is not proper, like taking intoxicants, eating meat, and having any illicit relationship with anyone, speaking lies, being a thief. If you do that in Braj, it is a great offense. It is called Vajra Lep. Vajra Lep means that offense is like a thunderbolt. It is a very serious offense in Braj if you do something illegal. So therefore, the living entities here in Kali Yuga, how can they make it out in Brajadam? Therefore, Guru Varga say, if you're staying in Braj, be very careful. Be very careful. Don't act foolishly. If you act foolishly, then you'll have to bear the consequences, not anyone else. Who are you trying to cheat? But Navadvip Dham is very merciful. Navadvip Dham is just like Gaur and Nitai. If you go there, there is no consideration of any offenses. It doesn't mean you have a license to do whatever you feel like, but still, there is no consideration of any offenses there. So Babaji Maharaj, he desired that the glories of Navadvip Dham be broadcast everywhere. Everyone realize what Navadvip Dham is. So then he told his sevak, Bihari Das, that let's go. Take me to Navadvip Dham. Now one thing is that Bihari Das was actually illiterate. He was a Brajavasi who didn't know how to read or write. But still, he was the best of Guru Sevaks. How? He would carry Babaji Maharaj on his basket. Any place he wished to go to, he would carry Babaji Maharaj there. Bihari Das. And Babaji Maharaj, one day there was one person who gave him 1 rupee. Who gave 1 rupee to Babaji Maharaj. So then Babaji Maharaj, he held that 1 rupee with him. He travelled for some time with his sevak. And then he told Bihari Das, return back quickly. So then he said, Guru Maharaj, what happened? No, he said, return back quickly. He said, why? I have to give this 1 rupee back to that person again. He said, why? He's given it to you. It doesn't make any sense. He said, no, give it back. I have to give it back. So immediately he went back. He came across that person and he said, here, take your 1 rupee. And he said, why? Why are you giving it back to me? He said, this 1 rupee that you have given me has so much poison. This poison is like a snake. And the snake is always biting me. I don't know how you can tolerate this poison. So here you keep this poison for yourself. I don't want it. He said, keep that money for yourself. So see, the lesson that he's teaching us. For those who are renunciants, tyagis, if they accept money from here, from there, from anyone they feel like, then who will accept their sins? Who will accept their karma? When a person is giving something, he is giving his karma. It is not so easy to digest. No. Like sometimes these landlords, these rich wealthy people, what do? They say they have collected so much money. So then they think, who will take all this money away? We have to distribute our sins. So they call the sadhus and they give as much money as they want. Here, take. And the sadhu is really greedy, so-called sadhu. He's taking that money, and what he's taking? He's taking that sin. Those sins of that person. So Babaji Maharaj, he said, you keep this money, I don't want any left. At the same time. So then, one thing to know is, he was very strong with those who are hypocrites. Those who pretend to be sadhus. Like we see from his life, that once he had some rasgullas, and what did he do? He told his sevak, rather than calling the sadhus, just bring some dogs here and their puppies. I'd rather feed them than feeding the sadhus. Said, why? Because these so-called sadhus, what are they doing? Dressed as a sadhu, they're only engaged in self-gratification. So rather feed the animals of the town than them. Like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, what would he do? He would dress himself in nice silken clothes sometimes. So someone asked him, Babaji Maharaj, what is this? Normally you're only wearing a langoti, means only a loin cloth. But today we are seeing you're dressed in nice silken clothes. How can we reconcile? Then he said, I'd rather be dressed in silken clothes than be dressed as one of these sadhus who are engaged in vyabhichar, durachar, illicit activities. So this way, Babaji Maharaj, Gurudev himself published a book on his life. One of the last books that Gurudev published just before he performed his Antardhyan Leela was a book on the lives of the four Vaishnavacharyas. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj and Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. He published a book on their lives. That was like one of his last contributions to this work, physically speaking. So therein he has mentioned in his foreword, in the preface, that all these biographies are collected from the essays written by Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj and my Godbrother, Vaman Goswami Maharaj. And whatever descriptions have been given of their lives in the Gaudiya, Dainik Nadiya Prakash, and the other periodicals of that time, I've collected and I've published in the form of a book. And this way, if you read that book for yourself, you can find so many other descriptions. So the greatest contribution of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, what was that? Is that Gauravi Bhava Bhumestha Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnav Sarabhauma Sri Jagannathaya Te Namaha. So he is credited with manifesting the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. Gauravi Bhava Bhumestha. Normally Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it was he actually who revealed the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. But Babaji Maharaj, he is given this title, Gauravi Bhava Bhumestha. Why? Because during his time, he was called Vaishnav Sarabhaum, means the emperor of all the Vaishnavas, belonging to the three dhams, Brajamandal, Kshetramandal, Gaudamandal. From these three places, he was the foremost leading authority. So in Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he had this spurti of Mahaprabhu's birthplace, he needed someone, some authority, who could also give his judgment on this. Because at that time, certain people were very narrow-minded. They were thinking that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a householder. He's still working as a judge for the British government. So then how is he fully renounced? They don't have any proper broad-mindedness. Because what has Mahaprabhu said? Kiva Vipra Kiva Nyasi Shudra Kene Noi. Jai Krishna Tattaveta Sei Guru Vai. It doesn't matter if one is a Nyasi, a sannyasi. It doesn't matter if one is a Shudra. It doesn't matter if one is a Grihastha. Jai Krishna Tattaveta Sei Guru Vai. One who is a Krishna Tattaveta, one who is realized in Krishna Tattva, he is a Guru. Guru means what? He can instruct others. Because he himself is a realized soul. What is the definition of Sri Guru? Tasmat Gurum Prapaddesa, Tasmat Gurum Prapaddeta, Jigyashu Shayattamam. Shabde Parichanishnata Brahmanya Upashamashraya. So here there are two symptoms of Sri Guru. Shabde Parichanishnata Brahmanya Upashamashraya. Shabde Parichanishnata means he is fully conversant with the Shastras. But this is actually a secondary symptom. What is the primary symptom? Brahmane Upashamashraya. Means he is realized in this Parabrahma. In that, Shri Guru lies, his Gurutva lies in that, in his realization of Shri Parabrahma. So, Babaji Maharaj, he was such a Vaishnava, of such caliber. So therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur needed his authority. So then when Bhaktivinoda Thakur held a huge festival for all the Vaishnavas to commemorate this occasion of Mahaprabhu's birthplace being revealed, he invited Babaji Maharaj there. And when Babaji Maharaj came there, as soon as he saw the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he was more than 140 years old, he was so old that his eyelids would droop down. His eyelids would droop down. Sometimes to look at people, he would lift his two eyelids this way. He would lift it and it would go all the way up here. Like here to this forehead. It would go all the way. He was so old. So then, when he saw Mahaprabhu's birthplace, what did he do? He leapt out of his basket. He jumped out of that basket that Bihari Das was carrying him. Bihari Das was a strong man. He was like 6 feet tall. So then when he held Babaji Maharaj was like 7 feet away from the ground. So he jumped 7 feet from the basket and he started dancing in ecstasy. This is not an exaggeration. This is the truth. So then he started dancing out in ecstasy and then he started calling out to Mahaprabhu. Ha Gaur, Ha Nitai, Ha Sachinandan, Ha Jagannath Nandan. And then there, as they were digging that place to build a temple, they also found this mridanga that Chandkazi had broken 500 years back. They didn't find the exact mridanga, they found the remnants of that mridanga. And then also they found this deity, this Adok Sach Vishnu deity, the Jagannath Mishra worshipped. Even now if you go to Yogpit Mayapur, if you ask the Pujari, he will show that deity to you. It's a small deity. If you request him, he'll bring that deity on his palm, on the palm of his hand, and he'll show it to you. The pictures also of that deity. So this was to prove, to confirm that this is the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Or else people had no idea where the birthplace of Mahaprabhu was. Now everyone just goes to Mayapur. They can go there, have darshan of Yogapit. But if it wasn't for these two Vaishnavas, then who would have known? None of us would have known. And one more great thing that Babaji Maharaj did was, he instructed Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada to compile this Vaishnava Panjika. Because Prabhupada was so learned in astrology, Jyotish Vidya, when he went to Babaji Maharaj to seek his blessings along with his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Babaji Maharaj told him that, oh Bimala Prasad, because in astrology, I am giving you one service. What is that? You make a calendar. And in this calendar, you must compile all the Avirbhav and Tirubhav Tithis of our Guru Varga. So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he took that order on his head. He said, all right, if this is your order, then this is order, it's my life and soul. So therefore, all these tithis we're following, including today's tithi, the disappearance of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, the disappearance of Rasikananda Prabhu. Like some days before, we observed the tithi of Ishwar Puri's Tirubhav. Some days before, we observed all these other tithis, Nityananda Udashi, Advait Saptami, appearance of Vishnu Priya, disappearance of Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. All these tithis, they appear one after another. Why? Because these tithis are very powerful. If on these tithis you can engage yourself even a little in remembering the glories of these great personalities, in discussing their glories, in speaking their glories, in practicing their instructions in your own life, then you're achieving such incalculable benefit, such immeasurable benefit. So who laid the foundation for this Tithi Palan, for the observance of these Tithis? It was Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Because he gave this direct instruction to Prabhupada. Make this calendar. And also today is the Tirubhav Tithi of Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj. And he also did a great thing. Just as Bhaktivinoda Thakur revealed the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what did Madhav Goswami Maharaj do? He revealed the birthplace of Srila Prabhupada. Because in the Shastras it has been said that Bhakti will be revealed in Utkal Desh, in Odisha. So what does that mean? In the Skanda Puran this has been mentioned. Means the very form of Bhakti, the very embodiment of Bhakti, Srila Prabhupada will be born in Utkal Desh, in Jagannath Puri. In 1874 he was born. So this place where he was born is actually a great pilgrimage place. for all the devotees, for all the Vaishnavas. But after Prabhupada left this world, this place was taken over by other people. The devotees had this great longing in their hearts that when can we go to this place? When can we take the dust of this place and smear it on our heads, on our bodies? But then they couldn't even approach this place because someone else had occupied it. So then Madhav Maharaj, he was given this responsibility by his godbrothers that you must reveal this place. So then what did Madhav Maharaj do? Although he was more than like 70 years old, still he would go to the court every day in Bhubaneswar. He would go to the court there, speak to all the lawyers there, the judges there. He would get all the documents. He would do everything by himself. And one day he was standing outside the court and it was so hot in Bhubaneswar. He was standing with his danda there. Once someone asked him, being a sannyasi, why are you coming to such a place where litigation takes place, where people quarrel with each other? He said, I am litigating for the sake of Bhagavan and his devotee. And he said, why are you bringing the danda here in such a place? No, the sannyas danda is something which is very sacred. No, it shouldn't be taken to any place. But he is bringing it here to the courtroom. Why? Because he said this danda signifies victory. He said, it means I will be victorious in this case. So then he had no money, he had no funds, he had nothing. He didn't have any legal representative, nothing. So one day he was standing out in the hot sun with his danda standing there. And then the district magistrate of that place, he was passing by in his car. So then he saw this very effulgent sannyasi standing on the side of the road. Then he told his driver, hey, stop the car. Let's see what he wants. So then this district magistrate, DM, he offered pranams to Maharaj and he said, Maharaj, how can I help you? I have heard from the others that you are regularly coming to the courtroom, regularly coming here. What is your intention, your objective? Then he said, can you please help me get that place? Which place? The place on Grand Road. Why? Because it is the birthplace of my Guru Maharaj. Can you help me recover that place? He said, surely Maharaj. So then he gave the final judgment. He influenced the judge to give the final judgment that this place should be given to Maharaj. So if it wasn't for Maharaj, this place of Prabhupada's appearance would have been lost forever. Now every one of us, regardless of whichever institution we belong to, regardless of whichever Gaudiya Math we are affiliated to, regardless of whichever Guru Varga we are associated with, regardless of belonging to the Gaudiya Math, ISKCON or any other family of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, now we have the opportunity to visit this birthplace of Prabhupada and offer our pranams there. Because recently they celebrated the 150th appearance of Prabhupada. And when they celebrated this occasion, not just devotees from the Gaudiya Math and ISKCON, but devotees from everywhere, all the four sampradayas also came to honor this occasion. I saw in that function, there was one Vaishnava from the Sri Sampradaya, one Vaishnava from the Madhva Sampradaya. And when they were given the chance to speak, they glorified Prabhupada so much, saying he is the root of this preaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world. If it wasn't for this personality, this Gauravani, what to speak of Gauravani, even Vedic culture wouldn't have spread to every nook and corner of this world if it wasn't for him. And who was saying this? People from the Sri Sampradaya, people from the Sampradaya of Madhvacharya, they were saying this. And even the Babajis in Radhakund, they are now gradually coming to appreciate who Prabhupada is. This I witnessed by my own eyes. Like one Babaji was telling me that Prabhupada, this saffron cloth, this Devi Varnashram Dharma, this preaching, if it wasn't for him, even the people who are associating with us, they would have never come to us. Indirectly, they're all coming to us through him actually. Because the Babaji is staying in one place, they don't go out much. What did Prabhupada do? Through his followers, he preached everywhere. He sent his arms. He sent his representatives everywhere. And they preached Mahaprabhu's mission everywhere, and now everyone has taken shelter of Mahaprabhu. It's like a huge family. No, like there's a tree, but it has many different branches. But ultimately the tree is one. Who is that tree? It's Mahaprabhu, Prem Kalpataru. So therefore, Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj is a very senior associate, Srila Prabhupada. Very intimate Siksha Guru of our Srila Gurudev. Gurudev had such nice things to say about him. Like today I was listening to one class, with Gurudev, he came to Vinodvani Gaudiya Math to speak on the centennial of Srila Madhav Maharaj, on his 100th appearance day. And Gurudev had such fond memories about him. He was saying that how one of Madhav Maharaj's disciples, he was very short-tempered. He would fight with everyone. So one day he had an outburst. He started shouting at some Matvasis, "You are like this, you are like that." So then everyone wanted to beat him up, saying, "Hey, look at this person, he is creating so much noise here." And what did Madhav Maharaj do? He just took him here, called him by the side, and he started caressing him on his head. And he started saying, "Hey, why are you so angry? Let go of this anartha, let go of this anger." And as he was caressing his head, this disciple, he was weeping, 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 weeping. And as he was weeping, that anartha was coming out in the form of his tears. He was just weeping, weeping, and that anger was coming out of his tears. And that person became a great Vaishnava. He was one of Gurudev's beloved friends as well. His name was Pujapat Bhakti Prasad Puri Maharaj. His name was also Narayan Dasadikari, his brahmachari name. Gurudev's name before he took sannyas was Gaur Narayan Dasadikari. And his name was also Narayan Dasadikari. So they had a very intimate relationship. They would do parikrama together. Giriraj parikrama, Vrindavan parikrama. He was a very bosom friend of Srila Gurudev. So this was the person whom Madhav Maharaj was caressing on his head, making him let go of that anger. And then Gurudev would say how Madhav Maharaj, when he would be accepting this on the occasion of his Vyasa Puja, he would not even sit on the Vyasasan. He would say that this Vyasasan belongs to my Prabhupada. How can I even sit there? I'm just like his servant, his lowly servant. So when his godbrothers would when they would try to make Maharaj stand and make him sit on the Vyasasan, he would refuse. He wouldn't budge. He would just be sitting there. But as soon as Gurudev would come, he would gently lift Maharaj up and he would make him sit on the Vyasasan. And then Maharaj, he would receive all the different offerings that the devotees had. He was very fond of Gurudev speaking Harikatha in Hindi. Madhav Maharaj, very, very fond of him speaking in Hindi. So Gurudev has such nice recollections. He would say how he would go to Chaitanya Gaudiya Math in Mayapur, associate with Madhav Goswami Maharaj. How he would go to Vrindavan here in Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, associate with him there. In Jagannath Puri, all these different places. Once our own Swami Maharaj, he went to Chaitanya Gaudiya Math in Chandigarh, in Punjab. So when Swami Maharaj went there the disciples of Madhav Goswami Maharaj, they made a nice singhasan. So then they requested Swami Maharaj that Maharaj, you can sit here and speak Harikatha on this singhasan. Swami Maharaj said, how can I sit here? This singhasan is for the Acharya of this place. Means it is for your Guru Maharaj. So I cannot sit here. I'd rather sit somewhere else. So then the disciples of Madhav Goswami Maharaj, they told their Guru Maharaj that your godbrother, Sri Swami Maharaj, when he came here, he told him to sit here. But he refused. Saying, I will not sit there, your Guru Maharaj will sit there because he is the Acharya. So then they told Madhav Maharaj that you please sit here then on this singhasan. Because this is meant for the Acharya. Then Madhav Maharaj, he looked very seriously, very gravely at his disciples. And he said, actually, this singhasan is for the Acharya of the temple. Who is the Acharya of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math? It is none other than Srila Prabhupada Saraswati temple. This is only for him. So get a picture of my Guru Maharaj and place it on the singhasan. And they placed it there. He never sat on that singhasan for the rest of his life. Such deep respect he had for his godbrothers. In any temple he resided, he would have Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj sit. His room would be above his room. His room would always be beneath Puri Maharaj's room. So then they asked him why. Because he said, my senior godbrother Puri Maharaj, if he's staying in a room above me, then I'm always receiving his foot dust. His foot dust is always falling on my head. So his room should always be above mine. Any godbrother of his, if he would ever fall sick, then he would send his own disciples, go and look after my godbrother. Don't think of my godbrothers in any way less than me. Think of them as my own manifestations. And he would send his disciples, and his disciples would serve his godbrothers for like so many months. For like 6 months, 8 months, even 1-2 years they would be there serving their godbrother. Because he would tell his disciples, they're like the opulence, the Vaibhav of my Guru Maharaj. If you cannot learn to respect my own godbrothers, then how can you learn to respect me? So serve them nicely. And they would serve his godbrothers sometimes even until they left their bodies. So much love he had for his godbrothers. That's why many of his godbrothers even gave their own temples to him as well, saying you manage these temples. So today is also his Tiruvavtiti. So today is getting late. So, this is giving us an opportunity to remember these great personalities, to remember their Guru Nishtha, remember their bhakti, their purity, and not just listening or speaking about it. No, just speaking about their glories or just listening to it is like a luxury. It means like we're listening to something or we're just speaking about something. But the best Pushpanjali we can offer to these personalities is that at least a few instructions of theirs we can practice in our own lives. This is the best offering we can offer. Not just words or not just flowers. Like any small instruction they've given, we can follow in our lives. Like they said, don't be angry unnecessarily. Means we can try controlling our anger. Don't be lusty. Means we can try controlling ourselves, regulating ourselves. Don't be greedy to accept the money of others. Means we should be very careful to not accept the money of others. So small things. Even the smallest of instructions, if we follow in our lives, then this is the best Pushpanjali that we can offer them. So this should be our sincere prayer at the lotus feet. That they give us the power. They empower us to follow the instructions. Because ekaki amar nahi payable. On our own we cannot follow any instruction of theirs. But if they mercifully, kindly empower us, then we can hope to follow some of their instructions. So that should be our prayer. So we'll stop here. So, Nitla Prishta Srimad Bhaktivedanta Madhav Sai Maharaj ki jai. Tadya Tirva Titi Mahamotsav ki jai. Nitla Prishta Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Tadya Tirva Titi ki jai. Nitla Prishta Shri Rasikananda Prabhu ki jai. Tadya Tirva Titi ki jai. Rupanukari Guru Varga ki jai. Anand Koti Krishna Vrinda ki jai. Samve Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande